Hello students, Standard 8 Chemistry revision of chapter number 4 Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. Everybody is familiar with the metals like iron, copper, sodium, potassium, aluminum, etc. And non-metals like hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, carbon and so on. Now the metals and non-metals are exactly different, opposite from each other. As we already seen in the previous lessons, that they have different physical properties like the luster and the malleability and ductility, sonority and etc. And then we started the chemical properties. In chemical properties, first we learn the reaction of the metals and non-metals with oxygen. We saw that metals react with oxygen and make oxide of the metal. For example, magnesium ribbon when burnt in the air, it reacts with oxygen to make magnesium oxide. Similarly, we talked about the rust. When iron is getting rusted, it means that it is reacting with the oxygen in the presence of moist air. And that rust is the iron oxide. We also learned that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Means they make basic when they are dissolved in water. Then we saw that non-metals also react with oxygen and make the oxides. Carbon burnt in air, it react with oxygen, make carbon dioxide, sulfur make sulfur dioxide, etc. And those non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Means when they are dissolved in water, they act like acid. We saw that not all the metals are reacting with the oxygen. Some react with oxygen very rapidly at a room temperature like sodium, potassium. Some react at little high temperature, but some of the metals like gold, silver, they do not react with oxygen because they are very non-reactive metals. Now we are going to learn another chemical property, that reaction of metals and non-metals with water. Means how they react with water and what do they produce. Now, not all the metals react with water, but some metals like sodium reacts with water vigorously and produce the hydrogen gas. It reacts at room temperature and produce the hydrogen gas. For that we can understand with the help of an activity. Here we know that we already saw about the sodium that it reacts with oxygen also very rapidly. If it is exposed to air, it comes into contact with oxygen, then it start burning. Similarly, when it is put in the water also, it vigorously react with water also. For that we can understand with an activity in which we have to take a glass beaker or a tumbler and take about say 250 milliliter water. Now carefully cut a small piece, very small piece of sodium metal with a knife and clean it dry it with filter paper and wrap it in the piece of cotton. We have to make it dry because generally we know that sodium is very reactive, so we can't keep it in the air. We can't keep it in water also because it reacts with water also. So it is kept in kerosene. So when we take out from the kerosene, there is a layer of kerosene on it. So to make it dry, we have to use the filter paper and quickly wrap into the cotton so that it can be get very dried. Then slowly put that piece of sodium in water. That you take the water in the beaker and observe carefully. But be careful, do not stay near that beaker in which you are going to put that sodium metal, because it can harm you also, because that reaction is very vigorous, and also it is producing heat, and therefore you have to be very careful. So when the reaction is finished, you can touch the beaker, then you will feel that the beaker is hot. It means that the heat energy is produced during this reaction. Now if you check the nature of the solution made with the help of the blue and red litmus paper, then you will notice that the solution appears basic in nature. So that is the chemical reaction of that process. Sodium metal react with water H2O, then it makes NaOH, that is a sodium hydroxide, which is a base, plus hydrogen gas. And why it is vigorously? Because temperature is so high that the hydrogen gas catch fire and start burning, and therefore it is very vigorous reaction. And therefore we have to be very careful while doing this activity. And as I told you, because it is very reactive with water also, with oxygen also, and therefore we don't keep it in the air or in the water. It should be kept immersed in kerosene oil, because it does not react with the kerosene oil. Now only the sodium, potassium, like that metal, react with water, but not all the metals do like that. Some of the metals like iron that react with water very, very slowly. And maybe the other metals like gold, silver, they do not react with water. And if we talk about the non-metals, generally non-metals do not react with water. All the non-metals do not react with water. Maybe they are getting dissolved in water, but they don't make any chemical reaction and make a new product with water. Yeah, maybe some of the non-metals also like sodium metal, that they are very, very reactive when they are exposed to air. For example, phosphorus. Phosphorus is a non-metal, but it is very, very reactive with air. If it is exposed to air, it starts burning. And therefore, phosphorus is also stored in water. It also cannot be kept outside or in some container because there is air and oxygen, so it can catch fire. So, the sulfur, which is a non-metal, also kept in water. So now we finish the reaction of the metals and non-metals with water. Now we will understand the reaction of both of them with acids. We know the acids like sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, etc. So what happens when the metals and non-metals react with acids? Generally what happens when the metals react with acid, they liberate hydrogen gas. They liberate hydrogen gas and the relevant salt of that metal. Means whatever is metal, that the salt of that metal is produced. For example, zinc. Zinc is a metal. If you put the zinc granules in the hydrochloric acid, that is HCl, zinc is Zn. If you put the zinc granules in hydrochloric acid HCl, then it produces the metal salt, means zinc chloride. Zinc chloride is the salt of the metal zinc. So zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas. Similarly, it will react with nitrogen, the other acid, nitric acid or sulfuric acid. Also, they produce the hydrogen gas and the metallic salt of the relevant salt. Generally, most of the metals do like that. How will we know that it is hydrogen gas? Because hydrogen gas is combustible. So when you take a burning matchstick near it, it will burn with a pop sound. So whenever any metal, gas is burning with a pop sound, when we take a burning matchstick, that is the hydrogen gas. So the liberated gas is hydrogen, as we know that pop sound is coming when we take a burning matchstick near it. So most of the metals do react like that, but some of the metals, like if you talk about the metal copper, copper generally do not react with diluted hydrochloric acid even when we are heating it. Means at high temperature also copper do not react with the hydrochloric acid, but it react with sulfuric acid. that are the different ways, and maybe some of the metals do not even react with a dilute acid. And if you talk about the non-metals, non-metals do not react with acids. Even on heating or whatever, generally all the non-metals are not reacting with acids. So here we learn two chemical properties today about the metals and non-metals. First we learn about the reaction of metals and non-metals with water, and then we learn the reactions of the metals and non-metals along with acid. And in the next session we will learn another more, like reaction with base, then some displacement reactions, and the uses of metals and non-metals in our daily life. So here we are going to finish today's session, which will be followed by the PDF, so that you can have idea about this. And if any confusion, please write down in the comment section. Thank you very much.